Arak, one of the oldest spirits ever. In some respects, the predecessor to modern rum, but also the predecessor to a whole series of sort of Eastern Mediterranean spirits, raki and Turkey maybe being the most obvious, which really have nothing to do with rum at all. There aren't a lot of arracks out there, but I thought it would be fun to do a YouTube video talking about them because I haven't really found any others. In particular, comparing the old man on the scene with the newcomer to see if there's any use in spending the extra money. So, the arak you will find on your shelves, if you do find it at all. And again, this is different from the honest flavored stuff you get from the Eastern Mediterranean. This is basically cane juice base or cane based spirit, I will say, often with fermentation starting off via rice. What you will find on your shelves tends to be stuff from Indonesia, from Southeast Asia, marked as Batavia-Arrack. Batavia is just a kind of an old-fashioned term for what we would now call Jakarta. So we're going to do head-to-head here of these two arracks, Batavia-Arracks, I should say. Batavia-Arrack von Oosten from the so-called Dutch East Indies Trading Ltd. company. This is an old classic from Haus Alpenz. This is, what have I written down? 98% cane and 2% Java red rice. So they're just using the red rice to kind of kick off fermentation. Bottled at 50% alcohol, all pot distilled as arak tends to be. Arak was also the source, incidentally, of the first long drink, you could call it, of ever, the punch. The Swedes and the Americans particularly seem to love the punch, and has kicked off really the entire cocktail industry. So arak seems to be one of those things that deserves more notice as a sort of just a historical fact. But the Haus Alpenz option, which has been around for at least a decade or more, it was around when sort of I started drinking, has now been challenged by this new option, this new Batavia-Arrack by the Dutch. Batavia-Arrack Indonesian rum, also 100% pot distilled, but these folks are claiming that this is all molasses based. It is bottled a little bit weaker at 48% volume. There's an entire description of the distillation process, which is kind of cool. On the back, apparently this stuff is aged in wooden tanks for a good long time. But like the good old fashioned Batavia-Arrack from von Oosten, it eventually finds its way in Amsterdam. Now, all of these, both of these, I should say, are sourced from Scheer, right? Arguably the most important rum. What should I even say? Sourcing organization in the world. If you see in your travels a continentally aged rum anywhere, chances are it's coming from Scheer's warehouse. They buy enormous amounts of rum from around the world for blending purposes, and the various independent bottlings and source bottlings out there tend to go through Scheer. Anyway, so the important thing is this Batavia-Arrack von Oosten is about $30. The new one, the Dutch option, is about $50, so considerably more expensive. And my question really with this was is it worth the extra money? I mean, you're getting this cool kind of like straw stringy thing on the top, cooler looking design. Bottle. I mean, it feels heavier. This feels heavier than the older bottle. But are you actually getting anything for your money? That's kind of the question here. Well, let's find out. All right. Here we go. I'm going to nose and taste both of these, and then add a little water, and then nose and taste them again, and give them a final score out of 100 points. So let's start with the old classic, the Batavia-Arrack van Oosten. On the nose. I mean, it's a really intriguing nose when you come across this, because, I mean, initially you're expecting kind of traditional rum notes, right? You're expecting those heavy fennel characteristics, black licorice, seawater, all that stuff. And this is just not doing that. But it's also not doing like a kind of predecessor characteristic to that. This is not acting like Granada Rivers or something like that acts like an rum or anything. What this really smells like is lemonade that you've kind of dropped like a bouillon cube into. So it's almost like sweet citrus meets a kind of savory note. Let's even say like it's do you know the vegetable bouillon cubes? Not the Maggi, not the little cheap chicken cubes, but the vegetable ones. Really interesting. Kiwi, lime, a little bit of nectarine. There's a little bit of a kind of a what are those things called? Not Trader Joe's. There's a particular kind of Trader something cigar that is very kind of flavored and stinky that is kind of showing up on the nose here. Like fruity herbal teas is the kind of the best tasting note I can provide. You show up at a expensive tea shop, and you just kind of open up all the jars and you smell them. This is kind of what you're getting. There's minerality to this, mingled with this sort of white flour thing, which actually puts me in mind of like a Bordeaux Blanc, a wine, of all things. And even like a slight lactic note, like there's some frozen yogurt in here. That sort of sour lactic note, which I'm really enjoying. It's a fun nose. It's a very different nose from what you would think of from modern rums. On the palate, really lovely, really just delicate. Delightfully kind of light, sweet, but not dosed. This is not dosed. It's all kind of like a sense of sweetness coming from the distillate. But really nuanced, actually. There's some kiwi. There's a kind of subtle leafy smokiness to this. There's like a Balkan pipe tobacco kind of thing. Like English style blend, Balkan style blend tobacco. Mango, definitely. Like a lemon lime thing. Definitely on the lemon lime thing. Like a high-end craft soda company made their own answer to like Sprite or something. That kind of thing. Again, lots of minerality. Lots of rocks, some tangerine. Well, more like tangerine peel than like the fruit, the pith, the pulp. Peach too. But then there's that savory note again, the sort of vegetable bouillon kind of note. the minerality and this sort of slight sour fruitiness. Okay, Bordeaux Blanc, but yes, also like a high-end Pinot Blanc, like an Alsatian Pinot Blanc or something. Soft, but also at the same time very precise, very pinpoint. I like this. This is quite nice. All right, I'm gonna give this a squirt of water. Sorry, I couldn't remember where I put my squirter there. And we'll come back to this in a moment. Just tasting this little $30 arak, I mean, you can immediately tell what kind of magic this can bring to just a punch. To, you know, throw this into some fruit juice and watch the magic happen. It's that simple. This can easily hold up a long drink all on its own. Yeah. But let's try its more expensive younger brother. This is the By the Dutch Batavia-Arrack. Again, all pot distilled this time, but molasses based apparently, which is kind of cool. They're saying, I'll just read this to you. The ready wash is distilled in very old-fashioned pot stills up to plus or minus 30% ABV. Second distillation up to 60 to 65% ABV. Rested in large teak wooden barrels for a period of 8 to 12 months before traveling to Amsterdam. I mean, it sounds like they're being very precise about the way they make this, which sounds like there's no, you know, red rice involved in the making of this particular arak. But again, the fact that they're sourcing this makes me think that they're still getting this from Scheer, from the sort of gigantic Scheer warehouses. Now, By the Dutch do make a whole series of aged arracks alongside this unaged version. I have tried all of them. I have tried the sort of what younger PX aged version, which I wasn't super fond of. But let's see what we got in hand with this younger version, unaged version. Okay. It's not very far removed from the Batavia-Arrack van Oosten, the Haus Alpenz one. It's a little bit quieter on the nose, actually. A little orange-driven. Really bergamot. It's more like herbal orange. So, again, this is like more expensive and 2% lower in alcohol. So it's kind of got some ground to make up already if it's going to sort of top the old Haus Alpenz option. Yeah, lots of bergamot. There's like what is that? You know, like this is going to sound stupid, but you know the dipping sauce you get with like spring rolls at a Thai restaurant? Imagine like just sticking your nose into that dipping sauce. That's kind of what I'm getting here, sort of alongside the bergamot. That kind of like sweet, fruity thing. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe that. But there's also like a lemony note, like a lemon oil note, really. White flowers, a little bit of minerality, like one rock in this. Little savory hints, but not as pronounced as in the first one. So we're talking like one, not even a half, like a quarter of a bouillon cube going into this. And I mean, that's kind of it. I mean, it's actually pretty. There are a couple of notes that are really prominent on the nose with this By the Dutch. once you've kind of exhausted them, that's kind of it. I mean, it's like, hello? Anything else there? How hard am I going to have to swirl this glass to see you come out? Nope, that seems to be it. All right, let's see what happens on the palate. Also, really lovely on the palate. Gives a sense of sweetness, but it's not actually dosed. Remember, it's like it's more just this beautiful suggestion of sweetness from the character of the distillate. And there's a lot of nuance in here. Again, quince, orange, orange peel, orange pith, black tea, but like understewed black tea. Like the leaves are only in there for like 2 minutes. Okay, that savory note that I was picking up on the Van Oosten, that's back. We got our bouillon cube, and it's like a full bouillon cube this time. We got a little lime twist. That's nice. Some kiwi. There's something floral in there. There's the white flowers, but there's something else. What is that? Something floral. I'll go with that. And just like this little tiny touch of like kind of a burned something. It's like just like an ashiness to this, but nice. But like a sweet, fruity ashiness. Like you took a kiwi and you just put a blowtorch on it. That kind of ashiness. Fruity, sweet ashiness. Nice, but at this point in the tasting, not actually impressing me more than the old $30 Van Oosten bottling. Which is a problem when this is more expensive and bottled at lower proof. A lovely bottle of spirit in any case. Okay, let's go through these one more time. Back to the Batavia-Arrack. Now with a squirt of water to kind of open it up, see what happens when I push it under pressure. Okay, doesn't really change that much. There's a little more like kiwi coming through. The savoriness sort of recedes, but I'm getting, yeah, the additional fruitiness, a little more like of that frozen yogurt character. So like kiwi frozen yogurt, and a hair more of that sort of tobacco character. The Trader whatever cigar. Nice, and the minerality is still there. That kind of like Bordeaux Blanc sort of character. On the palate. You know, that's pretty dang good, actually. That is solid stuff. Okay, so after the addition of water, it gets sweeter, but also like a little bit of that ashiness I was seeing in the second one, that really starts to creep in. So you're getting like this delicious fructose sweetness on the front end, but then as it sort of moves back in your mouth, it sort of is taken over by this kind of, okay, on the one hand, this herbaceous kind of orange pithy sort of bitterness, and then also this kind of like fruit ash thing. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm sorry, I just changed my score. I had this at 84, but this is actually better than that. This is an 84 plus. Spirit. Let me give this one more shot. Oh, no, wait. The savory character, the bouillon cube, the vegetable bouillon thing is still there, but it's kind of playing in the background behind that sort of, it's as if the sort of orange pith, bitter kind of note kind of came up and pushed that into the background, but they're kind of playing in tandem with each other against the fruity sweetness of this. It's really very nice indeed. Terrific. I mean, and very, very different from almost any cane distillate I can think of, except maybe the Grog I reviewed a couple of weeks ago. But this is so much less expensive than that. In any case, though, you could build a zillion cocktails and a zillion long drinks on this. This strikes me as very flexible, and for the quality you're getting, a little bit of a bargain. It's not, I mean, it doesn't have the weight of a full-blown, molasses-based pot still thing from Jamaica or anything like that. But, and what this is, particularly at 50% alcohol, is a really fun alternative to a lot of the rum agricoles out there, the stuff from Martinique. I mean, this is something, you could actually make a tea punch from this, which would be pretty good. And a lot of other stuff besides. Really impressive. Good stuff. 84 plus for this little, for the old bottling from Haus Alpenz, the Batavia-Arrack, then Oosten. All right, and now to the Challenger, which has indeed a little bit of a challenge. I mean, this is like one of those situations in boxing, right, or MMA or whatever. When you're fighting the champ, you gotta knock the champ out, because if it comes to a decision, like, the champ wins, and particularly in this case when the champ is, so to speak, $20 less, and 2% stronger than the challenger. I mean, you gotta come. If you're the challenger, you gotta come through in this kind of situation. So let me see what we got on the nose. Oh, there we go. So when I was initially nosing this without water, it was kind of withdrawn. Like, I was getting a couple of really nice things, and then it just wasn't giving me much more. But with water, it wakes up a little bit. Ooh, there's like the minerality is really stepped out on this. There's much more kind of rocky, dusty characteristics going on. Some lime, some orange, kiwi. What is that? There's something else going on in here. It's like a streak of sour black cherry. Is the best I can do with it. Yeah, let's go with that. Like a black cherry and a rock had a beautiful relationship, and the product of that is going into this glass right now. Yeah, much better on the nose than it was neat. Okay, so we're looking good so far. On the palate. Oh. So that little hint of fruity ash, when I was having it neat, has kind of expanded a little bit, has kind of grown and become more dominant and more appealing, actually, on the palate. It's more oily, it's more mouth-filling, and it's a little bit more sweet as well. damn it. Yeah, this is pretty good too. I don't know if I can provide further description than that, but this is also really good. The problem it's running into, I had this at 84 too, and I'm going to change myself to 84 plus. The problem this is running into is it isn't actually better in IMHO, as we say on the internet, than the Batavia-Arrack von Oosten from Haus Alpenz, which kind of opens the question, like if it's not significantly and even if it's not significantly better, why should folks be buying this? Or even on the nose, especially now with water, these are starting to converge more and more. I mean, when I have them side by side here, I can kind of tell the difference. The by the Dutch is pushing the orange a little bit harder, whereas the Van Oosten is a little bit more on that sort of stone fruity kind of quality. But I mean they're really close. You'd have to actually have the glasses side by side to sort of be able to hash out which one is which is bad news for by the Dutch, because this is the one asking more money. Same score for both, 84 plus. Good score for the kind of price range they're asking for. I mean, especially for $30, but for 50, you're kind of getting up there. But both, I mean, if you happen to have this, don't regret it. This is good stuff. I think it's actually kind of worth the money. It's just that this is so much more of a bargain in the wide scheme of things. So, how to close this out? Arak, definitely an underrated category. What I'm looking forward to is, stuff not from Scheer. Someone needs to go into, Indonesia, Jakarta, find the small producers, and just buy a batch of their stuff, and bring it over. Sell it as craft produced, small batch, artisanal arak, and someone will buy it, and they'll buy it because it'll be good. What these suggest is more the potential for the category to me than anything else, even though these are pretty good on their own. So 84 for both, but I really don't see any reason to not just buy the Batavia-Arrack von Oosten, and I guess that's kind of your conclusion. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope this was kind of helpful and educational, and cheers.